rogue, rogue, rogue.
Hi everybody, I'm going rogue because I have this honker of a boy. She's full of comments from my editor. Although some comments I'm thinking didn't print fully because I was like reading it earlier today and there were just some comments that were cut off. So that was a surprise. Basically, here's the shtick. I am only really holding myself to doing 45 minutes of work on the story every day, just given my injury and also given a lot of other work that I need to do for other things. But I've already done 45 minutes of working on the story today. But I did not type during those 45 minutes. Those 45 minutes were me reading and then, well, I guess I did type because, it's such a long story, but I was going to take notes with my voice to text and then my voice to text completely futzed out. And I was at a coffee shop and it was like, I didn't want to scream at my phone. And so I just got really frustrated within those 45 minutes. So I came back to my apartment. And that's why the title is Please Convince Me to Do One More Sprint. Because I think to just feel good about what I got done today, I think I'd like to do a little more, even though I'm only technically holding myself accountable towards one 45-minute chunk, which has already been completed. If you're following along on my 75-day challenge, which I have started again, I only have 2 more things to do today. And those 2 things are to finish my water, which, speaking of, that's in the other room. So once I get the sprint started, I'll go grab it. And also to finish one more round of physical therapy. So we're really doing great. My like secret goal, and not even goal, because it's not something I'll feel like I've failed if I don't do it, but my secret benchmark, I don't know what the word is I would love to be normally on a normal day during the 75-day challenge done with everything for the day by 5 p.m., including my water. Because I found that during the last 75-day challenge when I was drinking so much water, if I didn't stop drinking crazy amounts of water by around 8 p.m., she was waking up a lot in the night to go to the water closet. So that's why I would like to, on a normal day, be done with everything by 5. I think today the goal is to be done by 6, just since we're going to do some sprints. I'll do my physical therapy potentially during one of the sprints, but the first sprint is going to be a reading sprint. And I'm actually almost thinking we're going to do smaller sprints because it is, you guys, reading edits from an editor. It's like everything and it's like the best and the worst all at the same time. I feel like I'm constantly in fight or flight, and I'm not. As my therapist would say, it's important to recognize in the moment that I am safe. Right? I'm physically safe. I don't feel emotionally safe, but I am also emotionally safe. It's going to be fine. But so I think smaller chunks are better as we get into this, just because, I don't know, actually. What are you guys working on and what sized sprints do you want? How about that? Let me put it to the people. Hi, Jod. Let's rogue together. When I saw this before I even went live, I got scared that you were live and I was interrupting your live. So I had to go to make sure you weren't live. OMG, have the fates aligned? Am I really catching another rogue? Woo, welcome. Welcome. What are you going to be working on today? Oh, hi. Hi, Lavender. Jod says, I'm Q1 goal planning so I can work on my 2026 planner. Ooh, so I need company. Oh, I love it. I love it. Hi, Nina. I truly should go to bed. Oh, it is past midnight, but I'm having so much fun with outlining the project. Just a few more minutes of outlining. Yeah, just a few more. We'll do a short sprint for you, Nina. How about that? Like a 20-minute sprint for Nina, just to get a few more of outlining, and then Nina can go to bed. Hello, Lydia. Hello, Phoebe. Hello, Wendy. Hello, Susan. I'm reading and trying not to feel guilty that I'm not writing. I absolve you of guilt. Boing, sparkles. Absolved. You can read. Lavender says, I'm supposed to work on, a little on my big project today, but I'm tired, so I prefer shorter sprints. I agree. I think shorter sprints are going to be easier for us to chew. You know, when your mouth already feels full, take small bites. That slayed. Anyway, okay, speaking of, let's go ahead and jump right into it. I have put the call out to the other troublemakers, but I'm assuming Steve's asleep, and I think Katie and Devasia are doing family time. So it might just be me tonight. I hope that's okay with everybody. Let's go to the Hexed Hourglass YouTube. Hex Cougar and Away. Hourglass with Josh Pan. What is that? You guys, there are other videos to watch. Anyway, I won't go chaos mode. I won't bring those up. I'm gonna go into the Hex Hourglass, and I'm going to scroll to last year's Yule timers since I am working on a Yuletide story. Pardon me for yawning. Let's go with a winter candle timer just because this doesn't feel like blatantly holiday, but it's still giving winter. So let's go for 20. 1959, in fact, to be exact. Share screen, winter candle timer. Sorry for the play-by-play, but when there's not another person here, I feel like I need to like be doing stream of consciousness almost. All right. It's also past night for Phoebe. Wow, everybody's up here up late. Hello, everyone. So happy to see you live. Hi, Kat. Welcome. All right. Nina, this one is for you. I hope you're able to have fun outlining, but then we are going to hold you accountable and tell you to go to CPPP after this sprint. All right, 20 minutes, everybody. Happy sprinting. Let me mute myself. so loud. My deepest apologies. Was that as loud for you as it was for me? Oh my goodness. Wow. Ignore how messy my office is. First of all, hold on. Let's bring back some distraction to that. I tried to remove the here. Okay. That didn't hide anything. Okay. Anyway, that was a painful sprint, but necessary. I'm just, this is an exercise in masochism, but that's okay. It's also so good. It's good. It's an exercise in creativity. It's an exercise in patience and resilience. So it's good. I mean, in theory, it doesn't look like I did much. I only got through a few pages, but one of my big things is really early in the story, you guys are getting some about you tea. Oh yeah, Nina, finished my Romancing the Beat sheet. 20 minutes was the perfect springtime. Slay. Now go to bed. Good night. Mwah. Kisses for Nina. And for everybody staying, not for Nina, who's going to bed. I am starting off the book. The weather is very strange in this book, as the weather tends to be in the winter. And right now, I want it to be a little more intentional. And the first day, there's this kind of fog that settles over town, and it prevents my main character from doing an action that she would like to do. And then it kind of just happens to lift, and then she's satisfied and able to do the thing that she wants to do. And I would much rather tie the fog, from a literary perspective, I'd much rather tie the fog to her own inability to tell herself the truth. And there are a lot of things that she's lying about to herself in this story. And I think one of the easier things to spot, she can kind of become open about early on in the book. And so I want to tie her openness to that truth, to the lifting of the fog. It not in an actual magical sense, even though this is a magical world, she has no control over the weather, but just from a literary perspective, I like that as a device, right? That, in the meteorological events of this world, it just is a coincidence, but in the literary elements of the world, it would not be a coincidence. So I thought about what exactly it is that she's lying about. And it's something that does get revealed all the way at the end of the book. And I think that it makes more sense to have it be kind of more early on as a signal to the reader that she lies to herself. Oh, actually, I got through a lot more than I remembered, than I thought. I got through a chapter and a half of reading. I got through 15 pages. So that's actually a lot better. I thought I only got through 2 pages, but I only got a few pages into the next chapter, but I did an entire chapter as well. So, okay. Anyway, so there you go. There's a little sneak peek into my thought process. And maybe I'm being too deep, not too deep, but maybe I'm writing too much into it rather than reading too much into it. But that's how I'm operating right now. Wendy says, my office is also a mess and still half set up as a guest room from Christmas. Oh, fair enough. Good night. I am currently going through a declutter. That is why my office is a mess. I have a goal of decluttering 750 items before the 75th day of the year, which is in mid-March. So 10 items a day for the first 75 days. And if you guys want to know another little secret, you guys are getting all the tea on this stream. I started my declutter in early December. So I've already decluttered a lot, which is making my declutter section of my 75-day challenge very easy, because I can just pull out things that I've already sectioned off for decluttering and be like, I'm decluttering these 10 items. I don't know at what point I will, I mean, relatively soon. I think I've probably decluttered. Sorry, I'm looking at my boxes. I think I've probably decluttered 60 or 70 items. So basically I'm a week ahead on the declutter. But that's good because honestly, when I get into a declutter, I typically declutter like up to 50 items at a time. And so the way I'm thinking about it is I can basically on Saturdays or something like that, set aside 50-ish items, and then I'll be 5 days ahead. And then that just like saves me time later in the week on my daily tasks. Anyway, Phoebe says, woo, well done, Nina. Good night, Nina. Phoebe wrote 139 words. Very well done. I'm working. Oh, I apologize. I'm going to put myself on D&D. Focus. Do not disturb. I'm working on my paper. So I finished writing about my methods and started organizing my interview data for analysis. Hi, Halim. What are you working on? My skeleton. Oh, like your actual bones have decided we're not doing anything today. So I binged Netflix all day. Susan, all I ask is that you drink some water. That's my only request of you. And then, enjoy Netflix. It's January 2nd. Like, it is so okay to just watch Netflix all day because you're consuming stories. That like it's such a human behavior that you're listening to oral storytelling. It's ultimate ancient tradition and a great thing to do in the wintertime. Is it winter for you? Are you in Australia? Or Wendy says, I love that symbolism. English. I love that symbolism. Thank you, Wendy. I am glad you like it. Thank you. Pre-decluttering. Exactly. Ooh, love me some decluttering content. Yeah, I don't go in depth into the declutter Same. Hello? Did we know this about each other already? Same. Anyway, sorry. Love me some also, sorry. I'm switching back and forth. Ping pong. Definitely drink water then, because if I know you, girl, has the freaking everything is sparking for me. The air is so dry here the past few days. Everything is sparking. When I get out of bed, it sparks everywhere. So it's super dry. So definitely drink water. Anyway, sorry, Lynn, I was talking to you about decluttering. I don't go in depth into what I'm decluttering in my 75-day challenge videos, but I do show it. So like the things I decluttered today were some nail polishes and some essential supplements, and I show everything. I just don't talk about it, but it's just like a quick little clip where you see the items that I'm decluttering. I don't really go over it. So it's not full decluttering content, but it's decluttering appetizer, if you will. Kat says, I've been working on a huge declutter with 257 plus things. I print off pictures of the things I hung on to for the memories and put the pictures plus stories of the items in my journal. The very first declutter I ever did, this was a big help for me because getting rid of things that you have sentimental attachment to, you can transfer that. In my opinion, I can transfer that sentimentality to a picture because really it's just the visual of the thing that I want to make sure I remember that I don't let go of. And so there were so many things. Like the very first declutter I ever did was in 2022. I think that's right, because it was right before my mental breakdown. Not related. I don't know, maybe, but it felt like not related. And I got rid of over 1,000 items total in the span of 29 days or something like that. And taking pictures was a massive help for me as someone who used to be very sentimental. It's a massive help for me to let go. Susan says, so much water and tea today. Heat on my hand for most of the day as well. We got Susan. Are we in hand pain as well? We're both in Colorado and in pain. Look at us. Are you also in the state of denial? Because I sometimes feel like I'm often in denial. LM says, I woke up at 5 on steroids for my illness. Wrote 3,400 words before 7:30 a.m. So now I'm just getting chores done. Okay. Name drop the steroids. Okay. The steroids are why I was awake at 5. I mean, got it. I went to grab dinner and came back to multiple people talking on my computer. Oh, who else do you have? Who else are you watching? You cheating on me too? Julia's series recently was really good too. Oh, you knew that I was in Colorado, and you know what, Susan? I can't wait to have this exact same conversation in 6 months where you mention you're Colorado again and I get excited. I'm like, oh my God, me too. Because I just forget. If there's one thing I'm going to do, it's forget. Because guess what else I declutter? My memories. Unintentionally. John says, last year I found and fell in love with the Space Maker Method channel, specifically Danny's series. So much decluttering. Ooh, good thank you for the recommendation. Ellen is talking to Kat. Always in some sort of denial. Same. Taking pictures is such a good idea. I need to try that. It really is very helpful. OMG, I said I was on steroid for illness twice. I'm so sleep deprived. You're okay. Go to bed, maybe. Hi, welcome. All right, friends. Did I miss it all? No, we just started. I guess I did ask to convince me to please just do one more sprint, but we're in it now. We're going to do another sprint. I'm on page 30. I don't know if I'm going to set a page goal for myself. I was like, maybe I can push myself to get to page da-da, but this really is deeply uncomfortable. So I'm just going to take it sprint by sprint. So we're going to do another 20. I hope that's chill with everybody. And it could be our last. It could be our second of many. We'll see. Oh, no, I don't want to do the ghost ship. Should we do snow orgasm? That one's fun. Pardon me. All right, let's add this to the stage. Let's do full screen, 1958. Oh, hold on. More people have showed up. OMG, I thought I missed it. Also love that painting. What painting? Wait, can you see my scary painting in the background? You can see my sleep paralysis demon dude. Yeah, thank you. I bought that at basically the Denver version of Comic-Con. Slay, your timing is always impeccable. Walls. Well, thank you, Lisa. I think it's more just that I am always going live. I think that's the issue. Oh, that's a private conversation, or not private, but yeah. I'm also dealing with hard stuff today. So team one step at a time. We got this, Lisa. Lynn says, all decluttering content helps motivate me to keep decluttering. Okay, good. Well, then I'm glad a little amuse-bouche of decluttering from me is helpful. That sounds so funny out of context. I mean, it's funny in context too. The snowgasm. Yep. Behind you. First of all, what a terrifying comment without context, talking about no context. But yeah, this guy literally has been my sleep paralysis demon some nights. But I love this picture because it's so like unassuming upon first glance. I don't know if you can tell, but it is, oh, that's heavy. I shouldn't be lifting this with my hand, but it's like kind of almost like a romantic landscape painting of just a fisherman fishing, and then there's a spooky guy. So yeah, I got it's a like print on a nice piece of metal, and I am been meaning to frame it for months, but we have so many things that we've been meaning to do for months. As Katie Ann says, my pyramid of priorities is very top heavy. So some things just get left behind. Yeah. Oh, she's spooky. That is terrifying. I love it. Yeah, that's why I got it, because I keep adding and removing this print, but I've said this before, I think, but I want to have a lot of art in my apartment. I think art is one of the things that makes a place feel very curated and feel very reflective of the person who lives there. And what I really liked about this painting is the fact that upon first glance, it looks just like kind of a cozy, romantic, idealistic, naturalistic scene. But that I kind of want people, when they walk into my apartment, to think, oh, wow, this is a woman in her 30s and she's really classy and she's got her life together. And then as you look around and notice more details, you're like, also maybe she's a witch, ? Because there's just kind of strange things happening in the apartment. So that's the story behind the art. The iron giant left to rest in the woods and nature trying to take him over. I know it really does give that vibe. It really does give that vibe. And I'm convinced that the spirit of that creature lives in that painting, because literally 1 week after I purchased him, I'm not joking. I had sleep paralysis, and this little dude, I woke up and this little dude was peering around a corner in my bedroom, staring at me with the branches and the green. I don't know if you can tell, he's got green glowing eyes, everything. And it was a moment. Okay. Anyway, Well, so yeah, also maybe she's a witch. The perfect aesthetic, to be honest. Exactly. Okay, let's go and dive into the next 20-ish minute sprint, and I will check back in with you guys soon. that was an intense one. I went through so many emotions in that sprint. Okay, this is the thing I'm struggling with is I was sitting down to try and do a full reread of my story, but I'm getting so wrapped up in my editor's comments that I'm not even reading my story. I'm just like flipping to where my editor has left comments and reading the context of that, and then that's it. I really flew on that one. I got to page 133, which actually is a slay because that I wanted to get to page 100 today, but at the same time, I can't count it as a full slay because I did, in fact, not read 133 pages. I am, like I said, I'm skipping through to where my editor has left comments. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I was really frustrated at the start of this sprint by the fact that I was just skipping to my editor's comments and not reading the book. But I realized that to fight against that urge to just read all the comments is going to be tough anyway. So fighting it, I don't want to use up part of my energy just fighting that. I might as well just give into it on this iteration of reading all the comments. So that was one thing I learned. And then the second thing, or like one thing I thought about, and then the second thing is that I actually think it's better for me to just go through and see all of the comments before I even attempt a reread, because there are certain comments that are being left that obviously were left without the context of the rest of the book. And so I don't know how to internalize those comments until I know how my editor reacted to certain other reveals and things like that later on in the story. And then the third thing is that especially the beginning of the book, because, this is tea. This is tea. Are we ready for this tea, you guys? I'm pretty sure I'm changing this book to dual POV. It's been something that I've really been thinking about since actually when I first started writing it, it was dual POV. The first draft I wrote, the first like 30,000 words I wrote was in dual POV. And then I got scared. I was like, I don't know how to distinguish between my main female character and my main male character. And I was like, I just slipped back into my comfort zone and wrote the book from a single POV. And I really think it suffers because of that, because I think both my main female character and my main male character have fascinating stories to explore, but you can't really explore his from just her perspective. Like there is so much emotional juggling that he is going through too in the story, and it really gets lost if he's not one of our POVs. And also I just think it makes more sense because there's like this whole mystery in the first part of the first act about what he is, but I didn't want it to be this big mystery. I wanted the reader to know basically immediately. And have like it can be a reveal for our main female character, but I didn't want it to be this big reveal for our main reader character, for our readers. And so I just kind of love the idea of like right off from chapter number 2, right from his first POV, he's like, yep, this is me. I bet you're wondering how I got here, and like everything's out on the page for the reader. I think that's just going to work better. I think the story is going to be more interesting if we have both of their perspectives. And I think it's going to be more romantic because, we get to see how each of them perceives the other. And then we get to see like we get to see Sophie and her perspective and how she thinks Ash feels about her in any one moment. And then we get to see, because he's very like, they both have masks, right? They both wear masks. And so I think it's going to be cool to see from one person's perspective, the mask that the other character is wearing, and then switch POV, see their true feelings, see why they're portraying the mask the way that they are. And then I think that will make it even more satisfying when the masks finally drop. So yeah, wow, that was a whole spiel. And there you go, folks. But anyway, so because of that, because we're in dual POV, I'm really becoming more and more convinced by dual POV. I think it actually might not serve me very much to deeply read the book, which is hilarious because who wants to get, oh, damn, I just flashed that live. Okay, hold on. Ow. Who wants to guess how much it cost to print off this whole thing because I printed it off because I thought I wanted to do a deep read of the entire manuscript. And now I'm realizing that I should have probably just read through the edits on my computer. Although I do think that printing it off made them less scary. Like this has been a very scary process, but printing them off has made it less scary. It feels less like, I don't know, for whatever reason, psychologically. Who wants to guess? Okay. Cameron, no. Incorrect. Add $100 to that guess and you're still $2 short. Y'all. So $115 to print this off and have it bound for me at FedEx. So woof, business expense, it's a write-off. But anyway, so I it was a lot. But anyway, long story short, I'm not actually sure. See, Kat had it. Oh, Phoebe overshot it, but you guys were close. Girl, it costs $12 on Lulu. Call me next time. Yeah, but how long does it take to get to you? This was same day. I put in the order today and I picked it up 4 hours later. But yeah, that's fair. But these were all great guesses, you guys. These were all great guesses. Printing on your own printer costs a fortune too. Ink is so expensive. That's true. And unfortunately, my co-working space, I think I only get like 20 free pages of printing a month. So also thanks everybody for hyping up the dual POV discussion. My book is in first person present, which is interesting. And I think that's why it's hard for me to distinguish between the two voices. But here's actually though, and maybe this is me being hubristic, but I actually don't think it's going to be hard for me to distinguish between the two voices on my second round of drafting it because I know the characters now. Whereas before, when I was just first starting the book, I hadn't grasped their essences. And so they sounded the same to me because it was me, really. It was me trying to find them. And I feel like over the course of the first draft, I don't have a perfect picture yet, but I have a way better picture of who they are individually and then who they are when they're together. And so I think I'm going to have an easier time writing them individually as dual POV. So anyway, that's why this is a massive rewrite. It is a massive rewrite. I want to make sure that I'm not missing comments from people at the start, though. I want to... okay, that's where we're talking about the art. Okay, so Lynn says, I'm tracking my writing and word count in way too many places. I really need to learn to make a spreadsheet. I had a personal thing come up during that sprint, so I'm sidelined for what I wanted to get done, but this is also productive. I'm sorry about the sidelining, but you've got this, whatever it is, Lisa. Anna, hello, just deciding to work on some brainstorming. Welcome. It seems valid to read comments for framing, then go back and read the story with those in mind. Exactly. That's what I'm actually thinking. I'm so in it. I'm like, okay, I just did 100 pages in 20 minutes. What if, I have this blocked out, this task of digesting these comments and for the entire book. I have this as my schedule for the next 4 days. What if I could just get this done tonight? Okay. And then maybe spend tomorrow considering certain chapters about maybe that I want to reread, but I don't even know if I need to reread because I don't know. There's a part of me that just wants to consider everything that my editor has left and then really actually focus mainly on re-outlining, given the fact that I want to do dual POV, given the fact that I'm changing certain timelines, given the fact that I'm combining certain characters. I already know there's so much I want to change that doing a reread, I think that was one of the things that was making it hard for me to read certain chapters because I was like, this chapter isn't even going to exist anymore. Why waste my time reading this? Why waste my mental energy reading my editor's comments on this chapter? Even when they're good, nice comments, I'm still like, the perception, I can't handle it, right? And so I just want to skip everything because now I'm at the point where I'm like, well, everything's changing. So why read anything? I don't know. Anyway. Okay. Lavender says, I finished my setup and I think that's all the work I'm going to do for the day. My time is also up at work, so I get to head home now. Yay. Bye, Lavender. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. I'm not sure if you're still here, but it was good to have you. Wendy says, not reading them would keep me from focusing too. Exactly. I read all the comments, make notes, then go back and read the book. Sometimes that helps reframe the story when you have all the comments in mind. Yeah, I think, yeah, see, it was tea. See, Wendy, I don't promise tea and then not give any. Actually, yes, I've done that before. Unfortunately, sometimes I suck the tea back in before I share it. Phoebe is adding a POV in their revisions, albeit from 2 POVs to 3. Fair enough. Lynn says, I write a dual POV fanfic, and it was so fun to figure out their different voices. I have reminder notes about their voices in the header of my document, so hopefully I don't forget when I'm writing. Oh, that's so smart. Yes, love that. Perhaps some mutual pining. Exactly, because my 2 characters cannot touch, and that is touch is a mechanic within this story, and so it means they have to be very intentional with the few touches that they are allotted, and I love it. As a touch avoidant girly, touch is heavy for me for many reasons, and so but I love touch when it's done right, and in stories. And that's my big goal for this. Well, I have a million big goals. That's one of my issues with this book, is that I think there's too many things I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to kill some of my darlings in order to better serve the actual narrative. But one of the things I'm exploring is how touch can be intentional, and when it is not this thing that you can just do lightly, what does it mean? Okay, what else? Girl, you already yelled at me about that. Oh, yep, it's definitely not the same day. Yeah, that's my thing. I did mine at Office Depot, 0 out of 10. They printed it backwards. Ooh, oh dear. Imagine if I tried to print my first draft. Haha, yeah. And pages were missing. Oh my God, that is a 0 out of 10. I 100% just printed them out at work before when no one else was there. No one will ever know. Ha ha ha. Except you just told us. I'm calling, please. I love head hopping. Give me all the sides. Does your editor know you plan to add a POV? So yes and maybe ? I wrote in my note. So I wrote my editor an edit letter when I sent this book to her. I was like, here, because it's a first draft, I was like, I already know the romance doesn't work right now, because like there's a chapter where they go from being like tentatively interested in each other to suddenly they're like end all be all die for each other, because I recognized, I was like, I know that by this point in the story, I want them to have developed feelings for each other. And I had not been building up to that at an appropriate pace. I had been taking things way too slowly. And so I left a note from my editor that I was like, I know that literally at this chapter, suddenly it goes from like 20 to 100. And I know I want it to be at that 100 at this chapter. So I'm writing it there. So that way, theoretically, I wouldn't have to rewrite things later, which I'm going to have to anyway, now that I'm making a dual POV, but whatever. And so that way my editor knows what I'm trying to build up to and can give me suggestions for how to get there by this point in the story. And so anyway, I wrote this whole edit letter for my editor about things that I knew needed fixing and potential proposals I had for changing things and fixing things. And I mentioned dual POV. And it's been interesting because in her response to me, her edit letter response to me, she like acknowledged that that was something I was considering. And in some of her comments, she's like, oh yeah, if you did the change to dual POV, this would work. But then in one of her comments, she was like, yeah, if you did dual POV for the whole book, not that I'm suggesting that because I think that this is Sophie's story. And so I really don't know. I think she's really just giving it to me, leaving it to me and my choices. And I sat with that comment for a while, but I was like, it is Sophie's story, but it is also Ash's story because he is not just the romantic hero. He really is going through his own discovery and growth in this story. So I think, yeah. And also this is public knowledge. I can talk about this. My editor left. So that's why I also said maybe ? Because I don't know what my new editor thinks. So these edits are from my old editor. It was like one of the last things that she did for the publishing house. She had already left. She's got a new job at a new publishing house, but they let her finish her edits for my book. And so she's giving me my first round of edits. And then I've been moved to a different editor who's going to give me my second round of edits. And I don't know if she knows about my dual POV plan. And we're supposed to have, or like theoretically, we're supposed to have a chat sometime next week. And it's one of the things that I'm going to discuss with her. Wow. You guys are getting all the info. I think you should still read it though, just to know. Made chapter 5 on that sprint. Nicely done. Oh, now that is tea. Wait, what are you talking about? What is tea? What did I say? Touch is a mechanic. I'm sold. Okay, high concept. Yes, 100% sold. The yearning is going to be so good. Whilst now you guys are overhyping it. It's not good. Right now it's an absolute mess. Oh my God, Touch is Dangerous is a device in Hare's book also. It's so fun to write. I love the here's what I meant to write letter to the editor. Me too, because in my mind, it's helpful in the sense that way the editor doesn't just write you a letter back, already identifying all the things you've already identified, because who's that helping when, has anyone here seen Pushing Daisies? It's so like that. In fact, my editor, even that was one of the comments she left. She was like, oh my gosh, this is kind of getting Pushing Daisies. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it. I'm like, don't cite the ancient magic to me, witch. I was there when it was written. I watched that show. I campaigned for it to not be canceled. I was, one of my characters in this book is named Charlie after Chuck. So it's Charlotte, so it's the Pushing Daisies is a heavy influence on this story. Pushing Daisies is so good, you guys. Sorry, I'm still on about this, but I printed it myself and just had to bind it and just had them bind it and pages were missing. I know I said it in the Discord. It was a crash out and a 2-day migraine. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I know I did see this. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. So will your new editor go over the first editor's edits? I don't know. There's a lot I'm not sure about, Kat. Not gonna lie. I'm just over here because here's the thing. My poor publisher is having to deal with the fact that I can't type for more than 25 minutes a day. And as of right now, although I do think I'm improving. My newest round of physical therapy exercises seem to be improving how much I can type, but I also don't want to push myself back to regression, right? Because I've done that some days where I've done too much with my arm, and then the next day I can't make a fist, which is bad. But this is easily a 100-hour edit, okay? And if I can't do more than 25 minutes a day, even if I work every day of the year, do that math. They're getting this edit, in December, which, my real hope is that is not true. But anyway, so they're going through it and I'm going through it and we're going through it together. And so I think everything's just in flux right now. And it's so funny. I've been tagged in so many posts on Instagram of people saying that I'm in their most anticipated reads for 2026. And I'm like, put another book on there, babe. Where's that? Here we go. Where is it? The joke. Oh man, this is going to take me forever to get this joke. Okay, everybody, where it says video, imagine it says draft.
And when they dig up that backyard and find my bones, you'll go to prison.
There's not going to be a video, you stupid slut.
There we go. There's not going to be a book out in 2026, you stupid slut. If I don't understand how that would be possible, truly at my current level of ability. Yeah. Oh, Lisa, I'm amazed. I truly did not think there was a person on this planet who didn't know because of how much I complain about it. Yeah, I injured myself getting the draft finished in the summer and I am still not recovered. I have had steroid shots. I have been to a hand surgeon to discuss surgery. I've been in physical therapy for 3 months now, and things are so improved and also not improved enough to be like productive. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be good though, Wallace. Thank you, Wendy. What are you screaming about? It is going to be good. That is my hope. I really okay, here's the reality, you guys. I feel today, and honestly most days, not too much pressure because I already recognize that the sophomore book never does as well as the first book. And I'm so thrilled with how A Dark and Secret Magic did that I don't really feel any sort of pressure. Okay, cool. Screaming about the link to Pushing Daisies. Awesome. I don't feel any pressure about the pull and excitement. I got that. About to do better commercially. So where I'm putting pressure seems like a mean word. Where I'm putting expectation on myself is to push myself creatively with this story. And so like I said, I'm attempting a lot with it. And I really believe that this book can be so good, not just from like, not from the romantic perspective. I do struggle to write romance, but from like just the story, the person perspective, the character perspective, I really think I have two characters here who outline wise go through some incredible transformations and beautiful like revelations. And I don't do it well in this first draft, but the first draft, the point wasn't to do it well. The point was to just sketch out what I was trying to accomplish and then perfectify it later. And so now we're entering into that stage. But now that I've decided it's going to be a dual POV, it's less perfectifying right now. And it's more of a second, slightly more detailed sketch. So anyway, I'm thinking another 20. How about you guys? I'm thinking I've got it within me. Hold on. How do I get out of this? I'm trying to avoid things that are like blatantly Christmassy. How about this hot chocolate timer? This is good. The 20 is like really working for me, not gonna lie. Let's see if I can get through another, like, I'm not gonna give myself another 100 pages. That would be crazy, but maybe like another 50. Okay, Cat's vibing, so is Lisa. So we're gonna do it. Another 20. Thank you for listening to my little spiel, everybody. And 1959, happy sprinting. right, friends. That was our third sprint? Third? I think so. Which, can we just like for a second appreciate the fact that I've done an hour worth of sprinting in under 2 hours of being live? I am going to say that is going to be the final sprint because, first of all, you guys, I made it to page 311. Okay, 311. Slay. Actually, I think my editor didn't have much to say about the middle of the book, which is fine, but it was just also like, I was like, oh, lots of pages with no notes. But the reason I stopped where I stopped about 8 minutes left till the end of the sprint because I have reached the chapter with the first spicy scene. And I'm like, I can't, no, not the first spicy scene, the only, like, it's not even spicy. I don't write spicy, you guys. It's like what A Dark and Secret Magic was. Oh, wait, first of all, say hi to the vlog if you want to be in the vlog for tomorrow. I'm going to wave to be like, I went live. I'll start saying hi to the vlog in the chat and I'll film you guys. But it is the scene, the love scene. There is a love scene and I don't want to read, I don't have the emotional bandwidth to read those notes yet, if there are notes. Because I think I think this happened to me too with A Dark and Secret Magic. I got so amped up, like freaked out at the idea of reading my editor's notes on the more like romantic scenes of Dark and Secret Magic that I put it off for a day. And then I went and read the notes and there were no notes. And I was like, oh, well, that was funny. Okay, well, let me capture you guys saying hello. Thanks for saying hi. If you want to see yourself tomorrow in tomorrow's video, go check out Wally Smo Writes Instagram, or I've been uploading these as YouTube shorts as well. So anyway, so I got to page 311 and I'm stopping for the night. That's tomorrow Wallace's problem. That's a thing that I need daylight to face. It is pitch black outside. It's too scary. It's too scary to get to the love chapter at night. So we're going to face that in the morning. And I'm so proud because I have done 2 hours of work on the story today now, even though 45 minutes was my requirement. So the reason I went live was because even though I fulfilled my requirement, I did not feel proud of the work that I had done. Not proud of the work itself, but like the amount. Like I just was like, I know I can do more, especially because this work isn't typing work. So it's not like I needed to reserve my wrist. So I feel now good about what I have done today for the book. And I definitely think I'm going to obviously easily finish reading the edits tomorrow. And then I think finish a sentence before you start a new one. I'm debating the whole reread of it all. And I think what makes the most sense for me at this point in time, because there's just so much that needs to change, especially if we're doing dual POV. There's going to be Cameron, how did you know? Correct. Yes. Left-handed. I'm going to put on my brace because, that's what I did for the rest of the sprint for the last 8 minutes as I finished my last physical therapy of the day. So the only thing I have left to do today is finish this much water. And it's going to be great because I love to drink water while I play Baldur's Gate. So, but yeah, I think, what was I saying? Cameron, you distracted me. You distracted me with your prophecy of correctness. That is how I'm going to be spending my night. Yeah, reading sexy stuff in the cold light of day. Will someone remind me what I was talking about? Oh yeah, dual POV. Thank you, Miranda. There's just so much to change that I'm not sure what benefit I will get from doing a reread, because I think every single chapter basically is going to shift and change. There's so much that needs to change. Almost every chapter except maybe the first chapter. Literally. Like first chapter, I think needs a little just like taking down the exposition a bit. But for the most part, the first chapter sets up my main girl very well, I think. I could be wrong, but I think. But then everything after that is going to change because so much of the story is going to happen from the guy's perspective now. And also it was a first draft. It was a first draft. I usually don't do a full reread until my third or fourth draft. So yeah, I'm really thrilled that I spent $100 printing this whole thing out today, but it is what it is. You live and you learn, and it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And also, you know, that this was several hours that I didn't spend typing on a computer, because maybe that's how I should think about that I printed this out as an accessibility issue, because it helped me work on it because it was printed out. And if you're doing the edits in order, you're probably good to skip the read through. I don't know what you mean by this. Like, am I going to write it chronologically? Like, yeah, probably. But I think at most what my plan is. This is my plan. Are you guys ready? Are you ready for the plan? My plan is I'm going to finish my reading through the edits tomorrow in the cold light of day, as Wendy says. And then I am going to spend most of tomorrow's work just listing out all the things I know I'm going to change, especially because, like, given everything that my editor has said, there's nothing in here that she has pointed as being a weakness that won't inherently be changed by A, the dual POV, and B, me needing to change other things that I've already identified. So I bet anything that she's mentioned that has been a surprise to me, where I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting, I've written it down as, like, I've listed it out. Yeah, checklist vibes. That has really helped me. Yes, I love a good checklist. And then once that's all figured out tomorrow, then on Sunday, I'm going to start making a new outline, with the concept being dual POV, and trying to keep in mind all of the stuff that needs to be figured out, because I want, like, if it takes me 2 weeks to get this outline figured out, that's fine, because mainly what I don't want to do, which is what I normally do, which is just dive right in and assume things will get worked out as they will. But the reality is I don't have time for that, because of my arm and my limitation for writing, I would rather spend several weeks up front really feeling like I've perfected an outline, so that way I can be more efficient when I'm actually writing the story, rather than wasting my time and my publisher's time by doing another draft where things are like 90% figured out rather than 99% figured out, and then potentially having to do a whole nother draft because something big needs to change again, you know? So anyway, that's the thought process. Lavender, I hope you enjoy your pizza. I am going to sign off. Thank you, everybody, for joining me for these 3 sprints. You convinced me to do them. I'm grateful for you. Get ready, you guys. We're entering a season of sprinting for Wallissimo, which also, though, that's complicated because of the hand. But we're really going to try. We're really going to try. Nobody's going to be able to say I didn't try. That's at the end of the day, I'm not going to be able to say I didn't try. That's at the end of the day what matters most to me, that I am not going to be able to say that I didn't try. So thank you. Thank you for being here. You guys are the reason why I was able to get the work done. I appreciate all of you. Oh, thanks, Tebuggy. Thanks. Hope you have a great night. But always I'm going to include you. You guys are the best. You guys are French toast. You guys are Eggs Benedict. That's my favorite breakfast, for anybody who wants to know. All right. I hope everybody has a lovely night and have a great first weekend of the year starting tomorrow. And remember that, you know, if you haven't quite perfected the year yet, that's okay, because Monday is a second restart. So